Austin's new police chief details priorities for her first 100 days at the helm. The important role the community will play in shaping a new future for policing in the capital city.
A pleasant afternoon, but tonight should be our coldest night of the season until next week gets colder. We'll show you the temperature changes and some rain in First Warning Weather.
As President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks make international headlines, the longest-serving governor of Texas weighs in on what the future could hold under a new era in Washington.
And new this afternoon, President-elect Donald Trump announced he is tapping a one-time presidential candidate, environmental lawyer, and anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head the Department of Health and Human Services.
As NBC's Alice Barr reports, not everyone in the GOP is on board with all the president-elect's cabinet picks.
With President-elect Trump back home in Florida today, Washington is reeling from some of his controversial picks to lead key government agencies, including Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. He quickly resigned from the U.S. House
to pursue the position of Attorney General in the Trump administration.
That move halting a bipartisan House Ethics Committee review, though lawmakers in both parties want to see the results. Gaetz also faced a lengthy federal criminal investigation for alleged sex trafficking of a 17-year-old girl. Prosecutors ultimately closed the case without charges, and he's consistently denied wrongdoing. While railing against the Justice Department, he's now tapped to lead for its investigations into him and President-elect Trump.
The lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service.
The president-elect saying Gaetz will, quote, root out the systemic corruption at DOJ, while some Republicans argue Mr. Trump has a mandate.
I can understand his frustration in wanting to put an agent of change in place.
Others joining Democrats in raising deep concerns about both Gaetz and the president-elect's pick for Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
They live in this world of conspiracy theory, of burn it all down sensibilities.
Gabbard, a former House Democrat turned Trump ally who would advise the president on the government's most closely guarded secrets, has been a vocal critic of U.S. intelligence assessments, including in the Middle East, and has shared Russian claims about Ukraine that have been discredited by lawmakers. All eyes now on the Senate as a new majority leader navigates controversial confirmations and demands from President-elect Trump to sidestep the process if his picks can't get through. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And this afternoon, our Ryan Chandler spoke with former governor of Texas, Rick Perry, to talk about what lies ahead for both the Lone Star State and the nation at large. Perry is the longest-serving governor Texas has seen. He is also a former energy secretary who had firsthand experience working in Trump's Washington. From energy to immigration, the Lone Star State is poised to be at the forefront of many major policy changes expected under the Trump administration.
I think you're going to see border security and an immigration system that actually works being at the forefront. Probably some of the first legislation that's passed will deal with immigration policy. Energy policy, we know that President Trump is very bullish on American energy sources, particularly our oil and gas industry and the nuclear industry, small modular reactors in particular. So I expect not only in Washington, but also in Austin, there to be a real focus on energy policy.
And coming up tonight on KXAN News at 6, a look at the role the former governor is playing behind the scenes as he works to help save Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan's career.
Although the president-elect has already chosen several potential members of his future administration, those choices aren't automatic. Most positions require approval from the Senate, including the 15 potential cabinet members. According to the U.S. Senate, Trump's nominees will have to fill out a questionnaire, submit financial forms, and testify in front of a Senate committee. Afterwards, that committee will take a vote, and if they approve the nominee, the full Senate will then take a vote of their own. But Trump recently said the next Senate leader should would allow him to make recess appointments. So that's a move that will let the president-elect appoint some nominees without a Senate vote. That hasn't been allowed since a 2014 Supreme Court ruling limited the president's power to do so. Instead, the Senate has held pro forma sessions when it was out of town for a long period of time, ensuring a president can't start filling posts without confirmation.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
Sure was a beautiful day, setting us up for a beautiful and reasonably comfortable beginning to your evening. We're at 77 right now in high in western Blanco County at the Covington Cellars there. Not a cloud in the sky, and we've got reasonably light winds too. Most of us are in the middle and even low 70s at this hour, and many spots 5 to almost 13 degrees colder than we were 24 hours ago. Of course, we had that cold front moving through this time yesterday, and it sure helped to cool us off here today. Clear skies on clouds and radar, and with a light wind, it's going to mean a chilly evening. And we've got more high school football live on KBVO here tonight. Lexington taking on Rice Consolidated. That game is played in Bastrop. 68 at kickoff, 63 at halftime, dropping into the 50s by the fourth quarter. Coming up in first warning weather, coldest morning of the season so far comes tomorrow morning. We'll show you those starting temperatures before things eventually warm up. We've got one decent rain chance to show you that begins over the weekend before we turn even colder for next week.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Austin's new police chief has rolled out a plan for her first 100 days in the job. The first step is hearing from the public and her officers about what they want to see.
And KXAN's Brianna Hollis sat down with Chief Lisa Davis this morning to discuss.
What have been the biggest challenges so far?
I think the challenge is truly getting out to see people. I mean, there's still substations that I've not been to because it's so busy. The role of chief is one that it's a big job, and there are a lot of people that want to meet with you, a lot of people with ideas and agendas and things they want to share with you, and they're all important. I mean, from business community to homeless to unhoused, all of those things are extremely important.
What are some of your plans for increasing community engagement?
Yeah, so that's starting with this 100-day plan of truly getting the community, getting with the Hispanic community and doing some outreach there. You know, we know that is a population that underreports, and some of that is just for fear of they don't want the government, you know, whether it's immigration status or what that is, but truly building trust within that community. And that's just one example. The UT students, how can we work more with the students there and getting into that community? So you have all these different pockets of community, and every neighborhood's unique and they're different. So how do we do that as an organization, get in there? And that's just going to be time, me showing up, holding these forums.
And Davis plans to gather this intel from the community through ride-outs and unit visits with officers, meetings with businesses and community groups and town halls. And there's also a survey. So tonight at 6 o'clock, public safety reporter Brianna Hollis digs into how Davis plans to use data to improve policing strategies.
Well, in what's being called a staffing crisis, members of a state commission said today that hiring enough staff for some Texas prisons is, quote, nearly impossible. The Sunset Advisory Commission partially blames where those prisons are located, but also says the Texas Department of Criminal Justice has serious and systemic issues that have only made the problem worse. A report compiled by the commission recommends the department create a long-term staffing plan and possibly close divisions that have staffing issues. And staffing isn't the only problem, as the report also raised concerns over a lack of oversight for inmate rehabilitation programs, concerns echoed by others at the hearing.
In fact, the state jail system has the highest rates of recidivism across all statewide criminal and juvenile justice facilities. The most recent reports show that within 3 years of release from a Texas state jail, 60.1% of individuals are rearrested. 20.5% are reincarcerated. Comprehensive programming is not offered. The programs that do exist have no proven efficacy, and those who are in charge are deflecting when questioned on these issues.
And some board members of the Department of Criminal Justice spoke at the hearing today, saying that they've already taken some steps to tackle some of these issues, such as a new office focused on employee retention. The city of Round Rock just got a little more protection as it opened up a new fire station just north of downtown. Fire station number 1 is on Old Settlers Boulevard. The city says it will house 1 battalion chief and a fire crew who are moving over from the Central Fire Station. Round Rock Fire Chief Shane Glazier spoke today on what the new station means for the future of this booming community.
It's a great day for us to be able to open a new station. You know, we're relocating to improve services to the community. You know, I don't want it to get confused as we're adding a new company. We're not. What we're doing is just relocating from a current location so that we can improve response times to the northeast section of Round Rock.
And the city says it plans to build 2 other fire stations in the coming years thanks to the approval of a 2023 bond project.
High temperatures today, 12 degrees colder than yesterday, but still above normal. We got to 76 and normal is 72. We've got a warming trend on the way before an even bigger cool down for next week. And oh yeah, a little bit of rain to talk about too in first warning weather.
A Travis County grand jury has indicted an Austin area construction company for the death of one of its workers 3 years ago. A trench collapse killed the man.
OSHA has proposed more than $200,000 in fines against D. Guerra Construction for the death. KXAN's Barrett Trout explains what happened as the man's family says they just want justice.
He was so happy and everyone loved him. We miss him so much.
Rosa Morales is remembering her son 3 years after a trench collapse killed him on a construction site in South Travis County.
They only told me that there was an accident at his work. No explanation, only that he went inside the trench to work.
A Travis County grand jury has indicted D. Garrett Construction for the death of 24-year-old Jose Batilla. It comes after OSHA said the company violated several things, including failing to have a trench protective system in place, exposing workers to cave-in hazards, failing to inspect the excavation, and exposing workers to the dangers of being struck by material and equipment. The DA's office said Batilla and another man were sent back into the trench despite a partial collapse earlier in the day.
That over 250 workers have died in trench collapses in the United States in the last decade, including at least 20 trench-related fatalities here in the state of Texas.
Travis County says this is the first case for unsafe working conditions it's prosecuted in a decade. OSHA says the death could have been prevented if safety measures had been put into place.
Mistakes need to be paid for. They should have been watching out for my son because he was learning.
The construction company has 2 weeks to respond to the OSHA findings, which total $243,000. In Austin, Barrett Tryon, KXAN News.
And we did reach out to the construction company for comment and have not yet received a reply. The DA's office says 3 years ago it dedicated more resources to prosecuting work-related crimes.
And going in depth right now, according to national reporting by OSHA, the rate of workers killed in trench collapses has seen a sharp decline of nearly 70% since 2022. In 2022, 39 workers died in trench collapses. The next year, that total decreased to 15. And so far this year, 12 workers have died in trench collapses. OSHA largely attributes the sharp decline to outreach and education programs, as well as intensified inspections and a zero-tolerance policy for working in unprotected trenches.
All right, let's move on to the weather now as we get closer to the middle of November.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's getting closer.
Yes.
A lot of people are probably thinking about how they can start giving back for the holidays.
I sure hope they are, because our Friendsgiving competition continues. And of course, this all goes to the Central Texas Food Bank. And did you know that they serve 90,000 people meals every single week? And they spend $1.1 million a month on food for people in need here in Central Texas. So to help them out, help us out, either scan the QR code on your screen or go to KXAN.com/Friendsgiving. And we're doing a little competition, who can raise the most money, morning team or your evening team. And of course, that's us. So make sure when you go to KXAN.com/Friendsgiving, click on the evening team as you make your donation. And it all ends up at the Central Texas Food Bank. And of course, that's what it all is about this time of year, right? Temperatures around Central Texas now noticeably cooler than yesterday, thanks to that cold front that moved through around this time yesterday. And tonight will be our coldest night of the week and likely of the season so far, as we fall through the 60s, through the 50s, into the 40s, mid 40s even in Austin to begin your day tomorrow. But this dry air is easy to heat up. We'll be back up at 78 in the afternoon. That's a full 6 degrees warmer than normal for this time of year. So clear and chilly tonight. While we are forecasting a low of 45 in Austin, most areas will be in the low 40s. And while you're not seeing it here, I do expect that there'll be some spots that get down into the 30s to begin the day tomorrow, although not cold enough for frost. Then temperatures warm to 78 tomorrow afternoon, 81 on Saturday. We'll get some low clouds early on, but then a lot of sunshine. And then Sunday, a lot of clouds, a little sun, 81 again. But look, rain chances start to slowly ramp up later in the afternoon and into the evening. I think it's going to be spotty during the day, but wetter weather coming in Sunday night into Monday. Where's it coming from? A Pacific storm that's getting itself together now, bringing a little bit of rain to the western states already. But you can really see that dig of that western trough, this trough of low pressure, working its way inland, and that is going to carry rain our way as we get into Sunday and Monday. Rain coverage on Sunday will slowly ramp up into the evening, but the wettest weather likely comes overnight and into Monday morning. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms, possibly numerous showers, but right now we're holding off on a higher rain chance. We think 60% of the area gets wet weather, but then this rain is gone by, say, mid-afternoon. We are increasing our expectations for rainfall amounts in the areas that it rains, 1/4 inch to 1 inch of rain. I think many of us will be closer to the 1/2 inch mark, though. And then after the rain is done, our cold front clears the area, and then eventually temperatures drop. There's actually going to be a reinforcing shot of colder air that comes later on Tuesday, and that'll get our high temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday of next week to only be in the 60s. These will be the coldest high temperatures of the season so far, and then our low temperatures get colder as well. Next Thursday morning, we think Austin gets down to 40, but widespread 30s everywhere else, and possibly the first frost or even light freeze of the season in the hill country coming next Thursday morning. So we'll keep tracking those temperatures as we get closer, but at least some needed rain before the chill.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Pflugerville ISD sent a letter to parents this afternoon saying a doctor diagnosed one of its elementary school students with measles. The student attends Windermere Elementary. The district warned that since measles is rare but highly contagious, a respiratory infection is what it is, it will be monitoring all student absences at this school. The district assured parents, though, it doesn't anticipate any more cases. The symptoms of measles include a total body skin rash as well as flu-like symptoms such as fever, cough, and a runny nose.
Tonight, a News Nation exclusive. In a television first, an alleged Diddy sexual assault survivor tells her story, and she's only telling it to Ashley. What she says happened that horrific night. Banfield Tonight, 10/9 Central, only on News Nation. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
The Onion has purchased conspiracy theorist Alex Jones's media empire. The satirical news company announced the purchase of InfoWars with a tongue-in-cheek press release in the voice of the company's fictional CEO. According to a person with knowledge of the sale, the Onion plans to shutter Jones's Austin-based InfoWars and rebuild the website featuring well-known internet humor writers and content creators. The specific details of the auction are not yet known, but the funds generated from the sale are meant to satisfy Jones's estate creditors, made up largely of the families of the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting victims, to whom he must pay damages in defamation verdicts.
And Alex Jones went live from his InfoWars studio this morning to air his frustrations amid his Austin office's imminent shutdown. He said that he got word that, quote, my lawyers and folks met with the U.S. trustee over our bankruptcy this morning, and they said they are shutting us down even without a court order this morning. He went on to say, quote, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be here until they come and turn the lights off. Well, coming up tonight on KXAN, it's Law and Order at 7 o'clock, followed by SVU at 8, and then Found at 9 o'clock. And then we'll see you here for KXAN News at 10.